Hey, it's Sasha. I just wanted to mention that Ilia just came out with a new bronzer and highlighter. I was able to get my hands on these, but not until after I filmed the main video, so I'm going to have a quick update for you at the end. If you'd like to skip ahead to the part about the bronzer and the highlighter, I'll put a link in the description below. See you again soon! Hi, I'm Sasha. Today I'm going to be doing a full face of Ilia products, including their new Super Serum Skin Tint. Before I get started, I just wanted to show you the swatches for this skin tint. It comes in 18 shades, and I was able to swatch 15 for you. I was really happy that they included so many different shades because that isn't always the case, especially with natural products. These swatch pictures were taken outside. Here they are in direct sunlight, and here they are in softer, more diffused light. My shade is Balos or ST3. They describe it as light with neutral cool undertones. In general, this product is supposed to be light coverage and have a dewy finish. So now I'm going to get started with the makeup look. First I'm going to start with this Ilia True Skin Radiant Priming Serum. This one is a little sample size I got. I really like this primer because it doesn't have silicones in it. It's more of an aloe vera based primer. I just like to dot it on my face. This primer is really gentle. I like using it a lot because it seems to work well, but it doesn't have silicones and other things that irritate my skin. It also seems to absorb really quickly. It doesn't feel heavy or like a sticky layer. The only downside I found with this one is that I tend to go through it a little bit more quickly than some other primers, but I don't think it's something that you have to wear every day. It's more just if you want your makeup to last longer. So now I'm going to try this Super Serum Skin Tint. This one is the shade Balos or ST3. This one is supposed to be light with cooler neutral undertones. It's really cool. It actually has kind of an eyedropper applicator, and you don't need a lot, it seems. This is supposed to be light coverage with a dewy finish, so I'm just going to kind of dot it on. It really does feel kind of like a cross between a serum and a tinted moisturizer. Like it blends a little bit better than a typical moisturizer, but it does give a nice sort of light coverage as well. So you can see where I blended it in as opposed to the side where I haven't. One thing I like about these Ilia serum products is they do feel really hydrating. Even as they sink in, they still have that sort of dewy finish. I feel like it makes my skin look really fresh, even if it's on a day when my skin is particularly dry. So one of the reasons why I picked this product up is it's an all-in-one. So they actually have SPF 40 from zinc, which is really neat. They also use a special type of zinc that's non-nano zinc, so it's supposed to be some of the safest for you and for the environment. I think it's part of the reason why this is more expensive than some other foundations. I think it's really cool how they actually took the time to research all this stuff and try to find the best form of zinc possible. Especially if it's something that you're putting on your skin every day, I really like the idea of using something that is as safe as possible and as gentle for the environment as can be. So now it's sunk in a little bit. I think this is a really nice match for my skin. It does pull a little bit in the fair or cool direction. It's not like one of those kind of warming peach foundations on me. One of the reasons I like lighter coverage foundations is it doesn't feel like a mask. You can still see everything on my skin below it. I like how this has enough coverage to sort of gloss over those imperfections and discolorations, but it doesn't have that heavy, cakey feel. I'm going to use the Ilia Eye Primer. I picked this one up at Sephora, and it seems to have a really different formula than a lot of other eye primers I've used. It's not as like thick or silky. I haven't used this a lot, so I can't speak to its performance yet, but I'm definitely going to keep testing it to see how it works. Now I'm going to use this Ilia Radiant Translucent Powder. This is Moon Dance with SPF 20. I like to use a little bit of setting powder over my eyeshadow primer. I feel like it just helps everything stick better. Now I'm going to use this Ilia The Necessary eyeshadow palette. This one is in the shade Cool Nude. Just as a quick note, I purchased a lot of these right before they did a repackaging. The new packaging is white and more matches this Super Serum Skin Tint, whereas the old packaging is also really nice. It's more this shimmery gray. To get started, I'm going to use a little bit of this beautiful light mauve shade called Just. I'm just going to use this as a transition shade in the crease and onto the lid as a base shade as well. I really love cool eyeshadow palettes, and so I was so happy to see that Ilia had released one. They also have a warm version of this if you like to wear warmer tones. I haven't picked that one up yet, but I really would like to try it someday. I was so excited when I found this brand at Sephora because it's certified as clean at Sephora. When I'm not making videos, I love to wear clean or natural makeup products like this. I just feel like the ingredients are better, and I feel a lot better putting that on my body like every single day. Next I'm going to take a little bit of this beautiful burgundy tone called Unravel. Just going to work it on the outer edge of the eye here and up into the crease. I guess this is actually more of a cranberry tone. It has a fair bit of that kind of purple to it. It's just really pretty. These shades actually have a fair amount of pigmentation too, which is really nice. Same thing on the other side. It's going to move in kind of a diagonal direction and then go inwards and blend that up into the crease. I feel like I might have gotten a little bit much on this side. So I'm just gonna blend it out to make sure it's nice and soft. So with this, I'm just kind of going for an everyday look. If you'd like to see me do other looks with this palette, for example, something more glamorous, just leave a comment and let me know. It's got 6 different shades in it, and I feel like it's a pretty versatile palette. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this lavender shade called Just and apply it just under the lash line. I'm just going about 2/3 the way across here, not all the way. Just want to tie this whole look together with some of these beautiful matte tones. I tend to wear a lot of matte tones when I'm off camera. I love to do like a matte base and then just add a beautiful shimmer as a highlight. Now I'm going to flip that same brush over and go into this beautiful kind of nude shade called Infinity. Just going to work that on the inner corner here and on the inside of that lower lash line as well. Same thing on the other side. I'm trying to give a little bit more dimension here. So you could stop here if you want just a nice soft matte look. I want to go a little bit further, so I'm going to use this shade here called Undo. It's a really beautiful kind of taupe shimmer tone. I'm just rubbing my finger in it to pick up a bunch of product. Then I'm going to stamp this on the eyelid on both sides. This shade is so pretty. I just love it. I love the shimmers in this palette because they're not like overly glittery or chunky. They're just like that beautiful shimmer texture I love. It like catches the light in such a nice natural way, but it still gives you a little bit of polish. So I'm just going to work this out onto those mattes so it gives it a little bit more dimension. I'm going to take a little bit of that on this little brush and just press it in under the lash line. So sometimes I use setting spray on my brush when I'm applying shimmers or glitter tones, but I feel like with nice subtle shimmers like this, you don't actually need it. I'm taking a little bit on my eyelid as well with this, just to give it a little bit more pop. Just going to take a tiny bit more of this and work it towards that inner corner. I'm not going to go all the way over, just bring it a little bit closer. Now I'm going to use this Ilia Clean Line Liquid Eyeliner in Midnight Express. This one has a really nice long felt tip. It makes it pretty easy to get that flick at the end. One of the things I like about this one too is that it comes out nice and deep. Some of my other clean eyeliners come out a little bit patchy or they don't work well over other eyeshadows, but I feel like this one tends to come out nice and bold almost every time. With liquid eyeliner, I try to start small because I almost always seem to add more to each side. It's like the side gets a little too far up, so then I have to add more here, and then this side gets a little too far out, so then I have to add more there. I've been practicing this for years, and it's still hard for me. The main thing that I recommend doing is to stop and look at it partway through. Especially if you have hooded eyes like mine, things tend to look a little bit different when you have your eyelid shut as opposed to when you have your eye open. Now I'm going to use the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. This one is in the shade After Midnight. This one has a really interesting brush that has sort of a comb on one side and a different, more hourglass shape on the other. I actually haven't used this one a lot because I think it's a little bit harder to use with this brush for me. I feel like the silicone brush is a little bit spiky, and sometimes I've kind of poked my eyelid a little bit with it. People have left really good reviews for this on Sephora, so it's probably just a personal thing for me. But I feel like this brush just isn't quite as intuitive for me as like a normal fluffy brush. I do really like the formula for this mascara though. I feel like it goes on nicely. I would just love to see either a different brush option or have them make a different variety that has a brush that's a little more traditional, I guess. I do think the idea of this brush is really interesting though, because it's like more volumizing on one end and then you can kind of comb through your lashes with the other end. If you take the time to master it and learn which side to use, I think it could be really useful and handy. So I'm just going to do a touch on my lower lashes and try this comb side. I'm just doing the other side really quickly using my typical method, which is the vertical method for the lower lashes. I actually learned this from a Charlotte Tilbury video, I think. For blush today, I'm going to use this Ilia Color Haze Multi-Matte Pigment. These are really cool because they have this metal tip. You can actually use these as a lip color and a cheek color. I'm going to try it today as a blush, and then if I feel like it, we might use it on lips as well. This one is just a really beautiful kind of rosy mauve tone. It also smells really nice. I think it's like vanilla or something. So I'm just going to take a little bit and dot it on my cheeks to use as a cream blush. I'm going to blend it out. These are really nice because they're very highly pigmented. You really don't need a lot. It seems to be blending really well into that Super Serum Skin Tint we already have on. So use a tiny bit more. It's just so pretty. This is designed to dry down to a little bit more of a matte texture. So I like to kind of work with it for a couple minutes and just see how it looks as it settles. Now I'm going to use this Ilia Illuminator. This one is in the shade Stella by Starlight, which is supposed to be a rose gold. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this on my finger, sort of pat it in as an illuminator. Not really showing up a lot when I apply it that way. I'm going to try drawing it on. I'm going to go ahead and rub that in. I would definitely call this more of a soft illuminator. It doesn't seem to be a super bright or blinding highlight. It's really pretty though. I think this shade goes really well with all the cool tones and the eyeshadow and the blush, for example. I'm going to try drawing it on directly on this side. It seems to be working pretty well this way. It doesn't seem to be picking up the makeup below it. Just going to pat that in, blend it out. I feel like this is a really nice subtle highlight. It's kind of a great everyday highlight, especially for more of a nude or natural look like I'm wearing today. I'm going to take a little bit of this on my finger and put that under the brow bone as well. Both sides, down the front of the nose, Cupid's bow, tip of the chin. I'm going to use this same Color Haze Multi-Matte Pigment. This is the shade Before Today, which is what I have on my cheeks. I want to use it on my lips as well. I've never tried this as a lip color, so I'm really excited to see what it looks like. It's supposed to come out more of a satin and then dry to a matte. This metal applicator feels so nice and luxurious. This is such a pretty color. I feel like it's a nice kind of rosy tone that just adds a little bit of polish, but it doesn't call too much attention to itself. As a lip color, it's interesting. I thought it would taste like vanilla because it smells like vanilla, but it has a little bit more of that kind of like natural product taste. It's very light though, it's not too intense. I think this color looks so pretty with this eye look. I love how it matches the blush so well because it's the exact same color, and also how well it goes with the cool tones we have in the eyeshadow. If you're enjoying this video, I really appreciate it if you gave it a like or considered subscribing. I post new beauty videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Central, and I'd love to see you there. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be the first to watch my new videos. So that's it for the makeup look. Now I just want to do a quick comparison between this Super Serum Skin Tint and the previous foundation, which is the True Skin Serum Foundation. If you want to skip ahead, I'll have a link in the description to my summary at the end. So there are a couple differences between these two different products. This one retails for $46 and this one retails for $54. They're actually both 1 ounce, even though they're in different types of bottles. The Skin Tint is supposed to be light coverage with a dewy finish, while this one is light to medium coverage with a satin finish. But the biggest difference between them is that the Skin Tint has SPF 40 and the Serum Foundation has no SPF. I'm going to talk more about the SPF in a minute, but first I wanted to show you the difference between them on my hand. So the Skin Tint actually comes with an eyedropper applicator. You really don't need that much, so I'm only going to put a drop or two on my hand here. This is the shade Balos or ST3. It's supposed to be light with neutral cool undertones. As I rub it out, you can see it's a pretty good match. It has that nice kind of dewy finish. This True Skin Serum Foundation is a little bit different. It has the traditional pump applicator. The texture is a little bit thicker, more like a traditional lightweight foundation. This is the shade Majorca or SF 1.5. This is supposed to be fair to light with neutral undertones. So the True Skin is on this side and the Skin Tint is on this side. There's only a slight difference between these two tones. As you can see, the Balos has more of those cool undertones, while Majorca is a little bit more yellow because it's designed to work with neutral undertones. On my hand, the coverage looks pretty similar. However, I think they are right in describing it as the Skin Tint being more sheer and the Serum Foundation as being a little bit more light to medium coverage. So one of the things I was really curious about with these foundations is how they would hold up over the course of a day. So next I have a quick wear test with one foundation on one side and one on the other. Hi, it's Sasha. I'm back and about to start my wear test. I just applied a pretty similar look to what I did in the previous video. On my right side, I have the True Skin Serum Foundation. This one is in the shade Majorca. On my left side, I have the Super Serum Skin Tint. This one is in the shade Balos or ST3. Now that they've been applied, I don't really see a dramatic difference between the two shades. Even though one is on this side and one is on this side, I did blend them a little bit together down the middle. The True Skin Serum Foundation seemed to come out relatively light to medium in terms of coverage, while the Super Serum Skin Tint is a little bit more sheer. To note, I put both of these over Ilia's True Skin Radiant Priming Serum. I do feel like this leaves a bit of a dewy finish even before I apply the foundations. However, I feel like the side with the Super Serum Skin Tint is a little bit more dewy, whereas the True Skin Serum Foundation is a little more of a matte or satin finish. So far, everything is looking pretty fresh. It has a bit of a dewy serum effect on my face. It feels like it'll keep it nice and hydrated for a long time. Just so you can see it a little bit closer, I feel like it looks very natural. Everything seems to be blending well with my skin. I don't feel like it sticks out or looks cakey or anything like that. So I'm going to wear this for as long as I can today, and I'll check back with you later. See you soon! Hey, it's Sasha. It's been about 8 hours since I applied this makeup. Before I get into the foundation comparison, I just wanted to mention that I have been pretty pleased with the performance of this Ilia eye primer. I feel like my eyeshadow lasted a lot longer and I didn't see any creasing or other issues. As far as the foundation, I had the True Skin Serum Foundation on this side and the Super Serum Skin Tint on this side. The products did seem to fade a little bit throughout the day, but I do feel like there's still a fair amount of pigment there. You can also see a fair amount of the highlighter left, for example. My skin did seem to absorb that serum throughout the day, so it has a little bit less of a dewy finish now than it did when I started. One of my favorite parts about these two products is I feel like they absorbed really nicely into my skin. If you look closely, the product hasn't settled into lines. It isn't clinging to any dry patches. Basically, anywhere it's left, it just has a nice, natural skin-like finish. So overall, I was really happy with the way that these products wore, including the eye primer and both foundations. I didn't see a dramatic difference in performance between these products throughout the day. However, I would recommend a primer. It wouldn't have to be the Ilia primer, but I do feel like that one did work well. I think it was important to have a little bit more hydration throughout the day, so as my skin got dry, it absorbed that first instead of the foundation. So that's it for the wear test. See you soon. Now just to do a quick summary of the different Ilia products. First we have the True Skin Radiant Priming Serum. I have enjoyed using this and I like that it's designed to work really well with the other Ilia based products. I also love that this is silicone free and aloe based. I'm a little sad that this is expensive because it seems to work really well for me. Unfortunately, I have to use a fair amount of it each time I apply my foundation. However, I do like that it's both a primer and a serum in one. I feel like it makes it a bit of a better value. I haven't tested this eye primer enough to know how well it works for me. So far, my eyeshadow still looks really good. It seems to be free of creases and it applied smoothly. I do like that Ilia has a more natural eye primer. I've been using more silicone-based primers from Bare Minerals and Urban Decay for a while, and it's really nice to see that they're coming out with more natural options. I'm going to keep testing this, but so far it seems like a good product. Next we have the Ilia Radiant Translucent Powder SPF 20 in the shade Moon Dance. They also have pigmented versions of this, but this one is a translucent shade. I actually got this because I wanted the ability to add SPF to any makeup application. I think it's really nice because you can use it as a finishing powder, and because it's translucent, it won't affect the other colors that you have going on below it. Before Ilia's Skin Tint came out, I had been using this True Skin Serum Foundation a lot, and because this one didn't have SPF, I needed it somewhere in my makeup process. This one, it has really simple ingredients and it's very gentle on the skin, and so I love that I have a way to add SPF now, especially when I'm wearing something like this True Skin Serum Foundation. I've really been enjoying this Necessary eyeshadow palette. This is the Cool Nude shade. It currently retails around $38. I feel like it's a pretty good value for 6 different shades that are pretty highly pigmented. If you get this one, it should last you a long time. I also love that it's talc free and very cleanly formulated. This is the kind of palette that I can reach for every day and feel confident putting it on my face. I would love to try the warm version of this as well, so if you tried it, let me know what you think in the comments. I really do like how they have a nice range of colors in this. You can do something more soft and everyday like I'm wearing today, or you can do something deeper with these highly pigmented shades, especially up top. If you'd like to see more looks with this palette, especially something more glamorous, please leave a comment and let me know. But overall, if you're looking for an everyday eyeshadow palette that has really clean ingredients, I highly recommend checking out these Necessary palettes. I also really enjoyed using this Clean Line liquid eyeliner. This felt tip was really easy to use and I feel like it came out nice and bold. There isn't a lot more to say about it other than this is the one that I'm reaching for because it's very clean and it seems to work really well. I wish it were slightly cheaper, but the less expensive ones I have don't seem to work quite as well, so I continue to reach for this one. I do really like the formula of this Limitless Lash Mascara. It seems to last well and it doesn't flake or smudge on me. However, I do really wish that they would either change the brush or offer a different option. I really am not the biggest fan of the silicone brush. I feel like it takes me a lot longer to use and I just kind of worry about the way that it kind of pokes my eyelids. I feel like I'm just less precise with this. It's probably just a personal preference, or maybe I'm just not patient enough, but this one isn't my favorite natural mascara and it's not the formula, it's just the brush. I really enjoyed using this Color Haze Multi Matte Pigment. This one is in the shade Before Today. I think it went on really beautifully as a cream blush. It doesn't irritate my cheeks at all, which says something because a lot of them do. I also really like using this as a lip color. It has dried down a bit more to that kind of matte formula, but I feel like there's still a bit of shine there, so it's not entirely matte. I think it's a really beautiful shade. It just adds a little bit of polish. It's not too much. And I think this is definitely one that I'll be reaching for and using a lot in the near future. Unfortunately, this one is a little bit expensive as well, but it's got a really clean formula and you really don't have to use a lot. When compared to cheaper products, I think one of the things that sets it apart is this wonderful metal tip. I think this makes it really fun to use as a lip color and it makes it feel like a little more of a treat when you apply your lipstick. Also, if you are planning to use it as a cream blush, it will last you a very long time because you only have to use a little bit to get a nice color payoff. So last but not least is the Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. When compared to this True Skin Serum Foundation, I feel like both of these are really solid choices. However, I think this skin tint may actually become my daily go-to just because it has the SPF and everything all included in this one product. I don't feel like the level of coverage was dramatically different than the other one. I actually felt like it was a nice light coverage. It doesn't seem like it's too sheer, and I feel like it's a beautiful match for my skin tone. One of my favorite things about this by far is just how much thought and effort they put into the zinc sunscreen. They have a patent-pending non-nano zinc formula in this, which is supposed to be the safest for your skin and for the environment. It will give you broad spectrum protection, and the zinc is also not coated with silicone. This is one of the cleanest foundations I've used so far, and I feel like $46 is a fair price considering how much thought and care they put into the sustainability of the product and the safety. I also love that this comes in 18 different shades. When compared to some cheaper products, this is a really nice range, especially for a natural product. If you're looking for a clean base product that has both a tint and SPF, I feel like this is a really good bet. Overall, I feel like this is a fantastic base product that serves as a foundation, a serum, and an SPF all in one. I feel like this is a slightly better value than the True Skin Serum Foundation. If you use this one product to replace 2 or more products in your routine, it makes it an especially good value. Also, as a quick note, Ilia has recently repackaged their products. Most of the new packages are white and resemble this bottle, whereas the older packages are this shimmery gray. So if you're looking for them online and the packaging looks a little different, that's why. Hey, it's Sasha. I'm back to do a quick review of Ilia's new highlighter and bronzer. I'm so excited because these just came in the mail today. I've already had a chance to play around with them a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and apply them for you so you can see how they look on my face. So this is the DayLite Highlighting Powder. It's about $34 and comes in 2 different shades. So today I have Decades. This is a beautiful soft gold shade. It's a bit metallic and has a nice sheen to it. It can also be built up for a more intense highlight. This also comes in another shade called Starstruck, which is a deeper rose gold. So I already have a little bit on this side so you can kind of see the difference. This is without the highlighter and this is with the highlighter. It's a really beautiful sheen that when you first put it on, it's a lot more subtle, but then you can build it up to be a lot more dramatic if you want. I was really impressed with this one because it's just so finely milled. Like, you don't see any chunky sparkles in it, it just has this beautiful glow to it. While they don't advertise using it this way, I also did put a little bit in the inner corner of my eyeshadow look. I felt like it went really well with the Cool palette, and I just felt like it was a really beautiful way to give a nice subtle pop. At $34, this is a little bit more expensive than some other highlighters. I feel like the things that make it stand out is just how beautiful it is and how it has such a nice subtle sheen to it. I also really love how it's a talc-free formula that has very clean ingredients. I haven't had a chance to use the other shade of this, so I can't speak to it, but I really do love this one, and I feel like it looks really beautiful as a highlight on the skin. I also love how it's not a chunky highlighter. This is my favorite kind of highlighter and just my personal preference in general. There's so many pros to this product. The quality of the ingredients is very clean. It has a beautiful luminous finish. I also like how it's available in different shades. The only real con I see to this is the price. If you only use about this much and want more of a natural finish, this will last you a long time, but $34 is quite a bit, especially for a highlighter. But if this is something in your budget and you're really interested in a talc-free highlighter, this is definitely a nice option. Next we have the NightLite Bronzing Powder. This one also retails for $34 and comes in 2 different shades. This one is called Drawn In, and it's supposed to be a light to medium tan. I have it more built up along the side of my hand and a little bit more subtle near the middle. This also comes in a shade called Novelty, which is supposed to be a medium to dark tan. They say this is a finely milled powder with a subtle sheen. The sheen doesn't look very bright or shiny to me, at least under these lights. It seems to be more subtle and is a lot closer to a matte finish. I've had a little bit of a chance to play with this today. One thing that's nice about this is it actually has a fair amount of pigmentation to it. You can see where I applied it to the face. This is not always true with light bronzers, but I don't feel like it's so much that it's difficult to blend out. I feel like when I use it with a brush or even with my finger, it's really easy to get it to blend in and sort of have that nice natural contour look. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it off. I like to put it down my jaw and neck, along the sides of my nose, and along the hairline as well. I've already applied it on the side of my face so you can see how it just blends a little bit of warmth. I used a pretty light hand with this, especially because I'm so pale. You can definitely apply more, especially if you want a warmer glow. I really like how it does come in a deeper shade as well, because I know this definitely isn't gonna work for everyone. I really do like this formula. I love how it's talc free and has a really buttery blendable feel. I thought that it did a really nice job blending into the foundation. Today I'm wearing all Ilia products, of course, and so they are designed to work together, but I think this would work well with a lot of other products too. I'm really happy to see that Ilia has a bronzer. I didn't see any other bronzers in their line before. At $34, this is relatively expensive. However, I think it sets itself apart because it is a talc-free product with very gentle ingredients. Another thing that sets it apart is that it does have a higher level of pigmentation, but it is still easy to blend and look natural. I feel like the only real drawback of this product is the price, but overall it's a really nice bronzer that I think I'll be reaching for in the near future. Just to quickly summarize, I would recommend both of these products. However, the main caveat I have is that they are a little bit expensive and they both only come in 2 shades, so I would check to make sure that the shades are a good match for you before you go ahead and place that order. I was really happy to see that both of these are talc-free and have very gentle ingredients, and I did like the performance and the finish of both as well. I think both of these are really nice additions to Ilia's line. I love this powder highlighter even more than the Stella by Starlight illuminator that I used earlier. I just tend to have better results with powder products, and I love how this one is really easy to apply and blend out to the finish you want. I also really love this bronzer because I feel like it's such a nice neutral tan color. It didn't appear too orange on me, which is a big plus. I also like that it's highly pigmented, but it was still really easy to blend out to a natural finish. So big thumbs up for me on both of these. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.